Thank you very much. Mrs. Patterson, the sisters of the Bishop, Bishop Blake, members of the General Board of the Church of God in Christ. I thank all the bishops here, especially Bishop Owens, with whom I also served. I thought I was serving with the bishops. And I want to say a special word of appreciation to Bishop Roy Winbush, who helped so much on the Bush-Clinton-Katrina Fund for the work that this church does to help people in natural disasters. Mrs. Patterson, as you know, Hillary and I admired and loved the bishop very much. We thank you for your role in his life and in his ministry, without which none of it could have been nearly as effective as it was. Bishop Patterson was elected the leader of this great church in 2000, my last year as president. The Church of God in Christ has been very important in my life. I was in many of your churches beginning back in Arkansas when I was governor. I think two of my bishops, Bishop Lindsay and Bishop Walker, are probably in this audience somewhere today, but I wouldn't be on this podium if it weren't for them, so I have to acknowledge their presence. Bishop Ford was then the presiding bishop when I ran from Chicago, and I loved him very much. Then I worked with Bishop Owens, and then I met Bishop Patterson and began to work with him. And after I left the presidency, I enjoyed a wonderful relationship with him, which included a memorable day in 2003 when I came to Memphis to receive the Freedom Award from the National Civil Rights Museum, and we talked about his ministry and what he was trying to do. We were last together in this great temple right before the election last year, when he had a great crowd here for Harold Ford, and Congressman Cohen was there. It was an integrated crowd because he welcomed all people here to be good stewards of the faith and good citizens. Today there is a great crowd of people here, including heroes of the civil rights movement, Reverend Jackson, Julian Bond, the young mayor of Detroit, Mayor Kilpatrick, so many others, because of the kind of person Bishop Patterson was. I think it is altogether fitting that you have held 3 ceremonies to celebrate his service to the community, to the state, and to the nation. I am especially grateful that Secretary Jackson has come here to represent President Bush, to recognize that there was service beyond politics in his life. And I just want to acknowledge something that I think is very important. This church grew vast and great with enormous numbers and enormous support because people could feel that we believed in a God of second chances in this church. Because people could feel that they mattered, that they were loved, that they could begin again over and over and over. And your membership has swelled over the decades. When I look at this vast temple and realize that it was just an idea in the mind of the bishop in 1975 when it began. But all through, he also believed in reading the whole Bible And the book of James says that faith without works is dead. I will see your faith by your works. Hebrews says that faith is assurance of things that we just hope for. It is the conviction of things unseen. But he believed in a God that also thought we ought to show the faith that we could not see by the works that we could touch. And Reverend Jackson and I were talking in the back before I came out about the indispensable role he played in the sanitation workers' strike, which was the last public act of Dr. King's life. The indispensable role he played in saving the life of a man who was caught in a difficult situation. The fact that he was present in Mason Temple the night Dr. King gave his last sermon and said he had been to the mountaintop. So now we celebrate the life of another giant who is at the mountaintop. I think that it would be wrong not to point out that when people look back on his long and rich service, they will say he ascended to the leadership of his church. They will say he founded this temple and it became a vast presence in this community. But they will also say that he honored the whole Bible and the book of James, particularly by establishing the Church of God in Christ Charities, by feeding 178,000 people in 2 years, by sending countless young people to college, by being there when people's lives were broken in natural disasters, by convincing people who didn't have much themselves that they should give whatever it was they could give to their friends and neighbors without regard to their faith, to their background, when life had broken them down and made them begin again, because this is a church and we have a faith of new beginnings. So now it is for all the rest of you, indeed all of us who loved and were inspired by him, to continue to make those new beginnings. I cannot even put in words the gratitude I feel for every moment I ever spent in his presence, for every gift I was ever given by the Church of God in Christ. I can only hope that just by being here, I can tell you that one family that has spent a lifetime in public service, that my wife and I have been touched in ways that we cannot ever convey. But you know, because he touched you and because you believe in second chances. So I leave you with that thought. The nation can be grateful for a good and faithful servant. The nation can be grateful for a proper homegoing. But most of all, the nation is grateful for a man who read and lived the whole Bible, who wished his faith to be known by his works. They were looked at by God and man alike and judged as good. For that, we will be forever and ever grateful. Thank you, and God bless you all.